I've never noticed the mental clarity thing that people talk a lot about. So I think I would have if I were going from poor diet to fasting. Then I think because you're getting rid of the brain fog that you can get from especially a high carb diet, especially if you're getting a lot of sugar. But you said that you like to do interviews and things in a fasted state because you think you're clearer, sharper, faster?
I do, yeah. And you bring up a great point. It's this biochemical individuality. And I think we hear, ketones are great, so I need to be in ketosis to feel great. But everyone operates at a different level. I just find, for me personally, everything is easier.
If you took exogenous ketones, would you get the same mental clarity? Is it the lack of something or the presence of ketones?
Such an awesome question. I think it's the presence of the ketones personally.
Have you tried exogenous?
I have, yeah. I've noticed that, they jack your ketones right up, which I would love to get back to, because a lot of people are chasing ketones for fat loss, which I don't think is ideal. But for the mental benefits, I think the presence of ketones has a lot of potential.
How often do you take them?
I only take them when I travel, and sometimes before bed.
And you take them when you travel for what reason?
Because I believe that traveling is stressful on the body in a way that the ionizing radiation, this sounds totally woo-woo, I know, but the Wi-Fi in the airplanes, the recycled air, I usually just feel tired. More tired than I normally would, considering it's just like an hour flight or 2 hour or whatever. So I like to take them before, because part of the reason why ketones are so exciting to me is how they affect our gene signaling and protect our DNA and affect it. We talked about.
I've never heard it protects DNA.
Yeah, through the sirtuin enzymes, and it's a big, long, fancy word, the histone deacetylase inhibitors, the HDACs. These are common targets for various chemotherapy drugs. They're hot, they're upregulated when we fast, when we exercise, and when we're in ketosis. And maybe perhaps when we take drugs like metformin or rapamycin. So these are molecular switches that not only affect our body's preference for which fuel we utilize, glucose, ketones, fats, etc., but they affect stress response pathways, and including autophagy and others. So yeah, if you're traveling, if you're sitting, if you're going to be in a stressful environment, if your occupation, this is a big one for a lot of people working at a hair salon, or if they're cleaning homes, for example, cleaning apartment complexes, whatever, exposed to chemicals, I think ketones offer a lot of benefit in that regard, because you're helping these stress response pathways.
That's so interesting. I've never heard about this before. So you're saying if I'm in a diet-induced or fast-induced ketogenic state, I'm upregulating the things that de-excite that stress pathway? Or is it that being in a ketogenic state is sort of a rest and digest parasympathetic place?
Yeah, that's a deep question. We could get into it. So because it's counterintuitive, because right now, if you look at my stress response hormones, I'm 24, 25 hours into a fast. My adrenaline, my noradrenaline, my cortisol are significantly probably higher compared to if I just was eating a normal day, right? So logic would suggest that fasting is stressful. But what we see, that's the hormonal side of the stress response, and then we have the autonomic kind of central nervous system side of the stress response. What we see is parasympathetic tone and heart rate variability, which is HRV. A lot of people, you measure it with your ring that you use, the Oura ring. This is a proxy of our autonomic nervous system, and that increases in favoring more of resilience.
So my heart rate variability is going to go up in a fast.
Correct.
Interesting. I've never tested that.
Yeah, it's a wonderful, I think that's the best biomarker people should use. And look, if you're brand new to this and you fast, it might decrease transiently, but over time it's going to improve. So like if I don't eat anything tonight, when I wake up, my heart rate variability over the evening time and first morning will be significantly higher compared to if I were to have had 2 meals per day.
Right.
And so I think that's a good biomarker. And then, because there's so many people that say, well, it's just about energy balance, calories in, calories out. And there's really intelligent people that speak to that. And I could agree that you can get results doing that. Bodybuilders do that.
Define results.
Short-term body composition changes. Maybe at the expense of slowing down your resting metabolic rate. Because if we think about what our resting metabolic rate and metabolism is, adrenaline, noradrenaline, thyroid hormone. And dieting, prolonged calorie restriction tanks that. And so I think if people, again, I'm not a fan of calorie counting, by the way, but I just throw it out there because, there's some reasonably smart people that think that ketosis is stupid. It's all about energy balance.
Why do they think ketosis is stupid?
Because some of the controlled feeding studies in metabolic wards show that there's really no difference in terms of fat loss between energy equated differences in macronutrients. So if you have someone that's eating let's just make it simple, 1,000 calories a day.
Yep.
They're a small person, and all of that is, maybe it's on a high carb diet, 1,000 calories a day from a high fat, low carb diet, ketogenic diet. In 2 weeks in a metabolic ward study, maybe there's not much difference in fat loss. So they say, see guys, it doesn't matter. It's just energy in, energy out. Mm-hmm. And I'm not really totally concerned about fat loss is the best proxy of health, number one. Number two, these are short duration studies. In a controlled environment, people are not living their normal life.